Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.
A traveling memorial that's sure to open eyes and a chance for veterans to see the real thing someday. Healing war wounds, next on The Cities. There's a reason why it's called the Wall That Heals. Next week, a half-scale replica of the Vietnam War Memorial will find a temporary home on the Quad City riverfront. WQPT is bringing the memorial, complete with a mobile education center, to the Western Illinois University Quad Cities campus. Opening ceremonies are planned for Thursday morning at 9. There will be a preview screening each day of Ken Burns' The Vietnam War documentary. Friday is Military Kids Day with educational activities for children of military families. Saturday is Veterans History Project Day, where vets are encouraged to share their stories. And the last day of the exhibit is Sunday, with closing ceremony scheduled for 4 o'clock. But for almost 10 years, there's been a group that makes sure Vietnam veterans and other veterans of the wars actually get to see the actual memorial and other sites that dominate Washington, D.C. The Honor Flight of the Quad Cities actually began in 2008, and it has 2 more flights scheduled for this year. And joining us is the Executive Director of the Honor Flight of the Quad Cities, Steve Garrington. Steve, good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, it didn't start with the Vietnam War veterans. It started with World War II veterans, and you got through and progressed through as many of those as you could. Then you went to Korean War, and now is it almost exclusively Vietnam War veterans?
About 90% are Vietnam vets. We have 100 going on our next flight, and almost all of those will be Vietnam vets.
Next flight is scheduled for August 30th. 31st.
Last day of August.
This is really something that goes into planning for a long period of time. If you want to get on the next flight, you guys start thinking about it now.
Oh yeah. You need to put your name in. It may be a year or 2 till your name comes up. But with the exception of someone who is, shall we say, terminally ill,
sure.
Someone who only has less than 6 months to live, will get you on the next flight. But other than that, it's first come, first serve. So anyone who wants to be on a flight needs to put in their application right away.
Now the key is for the veteran, it's free of charge, is it not?
Absolutely free.
Does the veteran need a chaperone? Do they need an escort?
We have escorts. A lot of people volunteer, and they want to be we call them guardians.
Guardians.
And the guardians are wonderful people. They pay $400 for the privilege of going along, and believe me, they think it's worth it. I can tell you that. It's a great thing. They get to sit and be with a veteran all day long, hear his stories, talk to him, make good friendships. Some of the guardians and the veterans end up having each other over for Thanksgiving dinner. It's a real wonderful time.
Well, when you talk about a bond too, I mean, once the veterans are boarding the airplane, I mean, you just see this sense of camaraderie that you don't see very often. I mean, these are people who have shared some of the same experiences, but definitely have memories that really become stirred up once again.
It really is, and that peaks when they get close to their memorial, either the Korean for the Korean War, World War II, or the Vietnam Wall, and probably for the Wall That Heals that's going to be here. When you reach that becomes the high point of the emotion, especially for the Vietnam vets. Some Vietnam vets, and we teach our guardians this, don't want to go to the wall. They see it from afar and they say, I just can't go any closer. Some want to spend an awful lot of time there. So we teach our guardians, you have to be a little bit flexible and do what the veteran says. When we started all this, Bob Morrison, who began Honor Flight, had the mantra, it's all about the veteran. And
as it should be.
And that's what we think. It is all about the veteran. It's not about the guardians. It's not about the staff that goes along. It's all about the veteran.
Well, as you said, the August 31st flight is full. There's another flight in November, and then there's
November
4
1st.
More next year.
4 more next year. We're planning those.
This is continuing on. Now, like I said, it started with World War II veterans.
Correct.
I don't think anybody thought it was going to go this long and serve this many vets.
We weren't sure it was going to go past the first flight.
Right.
But it did, and we have now had 40 flights. 41 is coming up, and we are real excited we'll keep on going until we can't go any longer. But we had such great support that I'm sure we'll get through all the vets. We have a lot of volunteers. They work awfully hard getting everybody called.
Great sponsors as well. Sponsors
are wonderful. All through the Quad Cities, we have wonderful sponsors. It's just a wonderful time. Just great having everybody working together.
Well, Steve, as you know, the Wall that Heals is coming to the Quad Cities. It's a half-scale replica, but it's still really powerful. I mean, when you think of the 1980s, when the actual memorial was dedicated, I mean, they called it a scar. People hated it. It was renounced all over the place. Boy, has it taken a totally different turn. It is really almost a badge of honor now for Vietnam vets.
Absolutely. Vietnam vets were, well, in the 70s, they were spit upon. They were disliked. They were called bad names. And then in the 80s, the wall came, and now all of a sudden they've come of age, and people are saying, we didn't say thank you to these guys who were just doing their duty. We needed to be saying thank you. And that's why they created the wall. That's why they created this Wall That Heals. It's a thank you to the vets. It's honoring the vets. And I think that's a very, very important thing.
Not only is it honoring, does it not also help educate the next generation? I mean, how valuable are the memorials in Washington, D.C., or a traveling memorial like this for the next generation?
Well, I think they're especially valuable to the next generation, because I don't think they hear too much about World War I, World War II, Korea, or Vietnam.
Or it's in a dusty old textbook that they're not listening to.
They're not listening to anyway. No, and that's a great thing. Although for a lot of them, we have a lot of kids that show up at the welcome home, and for them now they are making a contact with grandpa or an uncle, a family member, or just a stranger who's wearing that Honor Flight T-shirt and saying, and now you're making a connection that it's going to last them a lifetime.
But once again, I mean, if a family member is interested in maybe getting their veteran father or mother on one of these flights, I mean, some people don't want to relive this. I mean, you really have to be careful when you broach that subject, do you not?
Absolutely. But we're getting pretty good at that. And sometimes when a family will say, well, we want Dad, we want Grandpa to go on a flight, but he won't go. Well, then, like we say, call us. And one of our veterans, myself or one of the other veterans that are on the committee, give them a call, and we start out, understand you're a veteran, what service were you with. We make a little contact, and then we're able to say, hey, this is something you would like. As another veteran, I can say, hey, you'll like it, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we can talk them into it when a family member can't.
Sure.
Sometimes they want to be with a family member. Oftentimes they don't want to be with a family member.
Interesting.
They want to have someone who hasn't heard their stories yet, or who they feel safe with because they're not going to see them again.
And it's a personal journey, and everybody kind of takes that personal journey in their own way.
It is.
Steve Garrington, Honor Flight, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Good luck and good work as well.
Well, thank you very much.
She's the Executive Director of the Honor Flight. And in a moment, making sure our veterans are not forgotten here at home. How you can help homeless vets, service men and women down on their luck. But first, Laura Adams has more on what's happening here and now if you go out and about.
This is Out and About for July 17th through 23rd. Hi, I'm Laura Adams. Central Memorial Park in the heart of downtown Sterling is home to Sterling Main Street's 6th annual Music Fest. Headlining this year is Royal Bliss. Geneseo Bark in the Park, a 5K run walk with or without your dog, is coming up July 22nd. Proceeds benefit the Henry County Humane Society. Quad Cities Nike basketball camps are coming to Davenport Central High School July 17th through 20th for kids 8 to 17. Registration required. The Scott County Historical Society hold their annual ice cream social on July 18th at the Historic Summit Church in rural Davenport. And don't miss all the fun going on during this year's Rock Island County Fair, July 18th through 22nd in East Moline. The Backwater Gamblers water ski shows perform every Wednesday and Sunday night through Labor Day, while Circa 21 presents the raucous musical Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, harkening back to the glory days of the movie musical. A blind Greenwich Village housewife becomes the target of 3 con men searching searching for heroin hidden inside a doll in Wait Until Dark at the Bruner Theater Center. Timberlake Playhouse in Mount Carroll present the interactive comedy Scapino, July 13th through 22nd, and Prenzy Players, performing at the QC Theater Workshop in Davenport, present the Caucasian Chalk Circle. Plus, there's still time to catch Richmond Hill Players' production of Rounding Third at the Geneseo Theater. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. The Vietnam War Memorial has become a must-see attraction in the nation's capital, and WQPT is proud to bring its replica and an education center that accompanies it to the cities next week. More on our scheduled events is still ahead, but here in the cities, there's a group dedicated to helping veterans get through what life has thrown them here at home. And joining us is Gloria Menzer on the board of the Bridging the Gap organization, which helps twice a year to bring Stand Down event for veterans. And the Stand Down event has really grown over the last 15, 16 years. It's now done twice a year. The next one is coming up in September.
Yes.
So what are you trying to accomplish? Because you're helping homeless vets, and we were talking that each vet, like every single person, is an individual. What they want and what they don't want is entirely up to them.
And we do everything for the veterans, but it's not what they want that we're trying to do, it's what they need that we're trying to fix. And hopefully us being there, offering the services that we offer throughout the weekend, they get a fresh start, and hopefully they can come out of it and maybe move on.
Because you never, I mean, we know that there's a big problem with homeless veterans. We know that there's people, veterans that are outside the system, and it's been incredibly difficult for them to live their life.
Yes.
What do you hope to do? What do you hope to do to help these men and women at least make it through another month, I guess?
Well, we clothe them, we give them a lot of things that are donated, clothing, stocking, winter wear, boots, shoes. But the ultimate goal would be to get them housed. And therein we have the agencies all day Friday, and there's housing, there's education, there's medical. And those are the things that we really want them to take advantage of that will hopefully help them get out of the rut they're in.
Well, you were telling me the first year that you volunteered, you couldn't stop crying at some of the stories and some of the conditions, and I'm sure it doesn't get any easier now.
It doesn't. I missed the first year. I started the second year they were in existence as a volunteer. I volunteered all 3 days. I cried all 3 nights driving home.
Yeah.
The next year was better, and I can say now I can still shed a tear because I don't understand it. However, I've learned to cope with it and realize the need is there, and I do realize that the majority of the veterans that are there appreciate us.
Well, the September stand down will be held at the QCCA Expo Center. I know you're
Yes.
always looking for help, so give me your best pitch. I mean, what type of people are you looking for? Are you looking for any experts, or are you just looking for volunteers?
No, I'm looking for volunteers, especially strong, muscular people that can help take up set-down tables. We need people to serve food. We need a few we have few sit-down jobs. We have had jobs for wheelchair people. They're totally sit-down jobs.
Absolutely.
But the majority of, especially this year we're only having a 2-day stand-down, and we definitely need strong people. Wednesday afternoon and Saturday afternoon, there's a lot of table lifting, box loading trucks, unloading trucks, and that's where we're going to need the help this year.
And how do the veterans find out? Once again, it's September. It's at the QCCA Expo Center. I mean, are they referred there, or can
They're
you just stop
referred
in?
by the majority of the shelters. They can stop in. We will have them waiting at the door before we open. But they are referred by the shelters. We do put flyers out. The outreach centers let them know when and where we will be, which we've been the same place every year now. So it's pretty easy to do that.
Exactly.
In February, when we have our 1 day, they put flyers out in grocery stores, under the bridges, any place that they know there might be people, we will put flyers. We have 2 vans that we rent for the event, and they go to the shelters and pick up places, bring them in, and then when the event's over, they will take them back, normally back to where they live. We don't take them to the pickup spot because they usually have a lot of goodies to carry.
Yeah.
And so we will take them right back to where they live.
Make it as easy as possible for them.
Yes.
Gloria,
it's all for the veterans, yes.
As it should be, right?
Yes.
Gloria Menzer, thank you so much for joining us. Gloria with the Bridging the Gap Board, which organizes the twice-a-year Stand Down event for veterans. Once again, it'll be held at the QCCA Expo Center in Rock Island, September 15th and 16th. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the weeks ahead. ahead. The Vietnam War Memorial has become a must-see attraction, and we're really proud to bring this replica and education center to the Quad Cities next week. And we're going to be talking even more about that. But first, the sounds of patriotism, thanks to the Quad Cities' first family of gospel music. Here's the Westbrook Singers with a medley called My Country, America.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Let freedom, let it ring. Our fathers, God to thee. Our fathers, God to thee. He's the author of liberty. Author of liberty. And it's to thee we sing. To thee we sing. Long may our land be bright. Long may our land be bright. With freedom's holy light. With freedom's holy light. Oh God, protect us by thy might. Protect us by thy might. Great God, great God, great God, great God, great God. He's a 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 great, great God, God. He's a great God, great God. Oh, great God, great God, our King. America, America, God shed his grace on thee. Ooh, and crown thy good with brotherhood. From sea to shining sea. Oh, America, America, God shed his grace on thee.
The Westbrook Singers with My Country, America. The Wall That Heals Vietnam War Memorial replica arrives just days from now, but there's more to its arrival and more to the memorial itself. And joining us is Laura Adams from WQPT, which is bringing the wall to the city. This is not a short-term plan. I mean, you guys have been working on this for quite some time.
For months, yes. Absolutely.
Why is this important? It's part of a bigger initiative for WQPT.
Well, the initial thing that the QPT has been doing for years now is embracing our military. And what we always sort of planned, we knew Ken Burns had a documentary coming out, and it will be airing on WQPT in September, and it's an 18-hour look back at the Vietnam War from everyone's perspective.
Well, and you know the master that he is on documentaries,
yes.
And he's done the Civil War. You can just imagine how this Vietnam
Yes.
War documentary will turn out.
So he's, you know, he and Lynn Novak, his co-producer, have been working on this for many years. And so we had the opportunity to bring The Wall That Heals to the Quad Cities. And we thought that along with our embracing our military and the fact that Ken Burns' documentary is coming up, that this was a really good time to bring it here and have people be able to learn more. I like to think of the wall as people can bring their children and explain what that conflict was about. And for veterans to come in and spend time either with families or on their own so they can spend time with their friends, people that they might have lost.
Well, and the arrival of the wall here in the cities is going to be kind of choreographed in a special way as well.
It is. It'll be coming down through LeClaire and crossover I-80, and then
This is on Wednesday?
This is on Wednesday. And it will. And people who along that route, coming down River Drive 84 and down River Drive, they can take a look at our website and see where it'll be at certain times. So it will take about a half an hour along that route, and so we're hoping that people will be out with flags, and that we have a Patriot Guard that is going to be escorting them, as well as some police departments in each of these towns as they're coming through. And it's a way just to, again, draw attention to the fact that the wall is coming, and for people to really sort of put it on their calendar.
Well, and what's impressive is it's not only a wall, it is an education center,
yes,
and WQPT has events planned around it. Tell me a little bit about the education center, because let's be honest, with kids these days, anything interactive or anything that has blinking monitors is an extra special way to get your message across.
Yeah, and I mean, it has a lot of certainly artifacts from that time. It's a real hands-on kind of experience for people. And then also going through, not just with the wall, but there'll be a loop of an excerpt of Ken Burns' documentary, so people can have an opportunity to look at that. There are other loops of other films that will be going on, and there's just a lot of, every day there's a group that's being highlighted, from military kids to, from the veterans sharing their story. So there are a lot of things that are going on every day for folks.
That too has been an ongoing effort for WQPT, is for the veterans to share their stories and for a record to be kept. And once again, like you said, on Saturday, that's going to be your prime focus. If somebody is interested in participating, you could just walk in, but it'd be easier maybe if you call ahead?
I think if they call and make an appointment, that's always best, because each of them, in order to go into the Library of Congress, it needs to be a 30-minute interview. And so,
and that's where the stories are ending up to the Library of Congress.
That's exactly where they're going. And if anyone has artifacts or things that they want to include with it, we can certainly do that as well. So far, WQPT has done about 36 of them that have been accepted to the library, and this will be our third time doing it. So we've had veterans from World War II up through Afghanistan and Iraq. So this is an opportunity to capture more of the Vietnam veteran stories.
Absolutely, and like you said, it is a family event. I mean, it is something that the veteran as well as their children and grandchildren can all take part.
I think the thing that's really great about this is no matter who you are, if you want to just say thank you, if you want to be there and heal, and that's what this was originally created for. It's for everybody, and it is open 24 hours a day. We have had people call us and say, I'm going to come in the middle of the night because I didn't get called up, but my friends did, and they didn't come home, and I want to spend some time with them. So, this is an opportunity for people to do it in their own way.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the most important thing.
All right, thank you, Laura Adams. And once again, The Wall That Heals is to arrive in the cities on Wednesday. Opening ceremonies are planned for Thursday morning at 9. There will be a preview screenings each day of Ken Burns' The Vietnam War documentary. Now, Friday, Military Kids Day with educational activities for military kids. Saturday is Veterans History Project Day, where vets are invited, if not encouraged, to share their stories. And the last day of the event is Sunday. Closing ceremonies are scheduled at 4 o'clock. WQPT certainly hopes to see you there, on the air, on the radio, on the web, and on your mobile device. Thanks for taking some time to join us. We talk about the issues on the cities.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.